You can't drink year in and year out and expect at some point for it to not catch up to you. And I would bet money that if we could go internally and see inside, that that's one of the causes that's causing him to get fatigued now. It's not the overtraining. It's not this and it's not that. It's just guys are standing up and going 12 rounds now. But you can't drink vodka year in and year out and expect on fight night to fight somebody like Andre Ward. I'm looking for a real good fight. Sergey Kovalev is definitely not underestimated. I don't have a problem saying that before we fought, I was a fan of his. I'm still a fan of his. I just won't be a fan of his on June 17. This is not me blowing smoke. I admire his skill. I always knew that if we came across each other, that it was going to be a tough fight, difficult fight, and a fight of attrition. And I expect the same thing June 17. Those are the words of Virgil Hunter, the trainer of light heavyweight world champion, unified light heavyweight world champion Andre Ward, talking about his opponent in the upcoming rematch, Sergey Kovalev. He's saying that the word on the grapevine is that Kovalev likes a drink, and kind of suggesting or insinuating that he likes to drink a little bit too much. Not to say that he has a drinking problem, but as a high-level professional athlete, you should be minimizing the amount of alcohol intake that you have. A lot of people are not really aware of the physical impact that drinking alcohol has on the human body, particularly on the body of an athlete. What I'm about to say right now, you can go look up for yourselves. This might surprise you. But alcohol, among other detrimental effects, lowers male testosterone. Oh yeah, go look that up. A lot of people are going to be alarmed when they hear that for the first time. Alcohol lowers male testosterone. And testosterone is responsible for giving you energy, vitality, virility, responsible for giving you the muscle mass that you have, giving you everything that makes you a man, everything that makes you masculine and male is governed by your, well, not everything, but a lot is governed by your testosterone levels. If you're somebody that drinks regularly and consistently, it's likely that your testosterone level is below what it should be if you weren't drinking alcohol on a regular basis. That's just one of the physical side effects that alcohol can have on you. As well as that, it dehydrates you. It kills brain cells. It can add weight onto you, and that's also linked to depleting your testosterone levels. There's a lot of things that alcohol can do to you that are detrimental. It may have some benefits, drinking alcohol. Not everything is bad. But in my view, in my experience and in the knowledge I have about it, it's more detrimental than beneficial, particularly when you're dealing with athletes. So if what Virgil Hunter is saying is accurate, and Kovalev really has not an issue with drinking, but if he drinks more than the average top-level athlete, then that could really be the reason why Kovalev is gassing late in fights. And if that is the case, then perhaps it's going to manifest itself again in this rematch. If he's been living like this for years and years. You know, boxing is replete with supremely talented athletes who, even during their prime years, were abusing alcohol and even drugs. And despite that, they were able to go in the ring and get the job done. Such was the level of their talent. But at some point, their abuse of alcohol and drugs did catch up to them. A prime example would be Mike Tyson. Tyson has said in numerous interviews and documentaries over the years that even in his prime, even when he was with the heralded Kevin Rooney, he was drinking during training camp for a lot of his big fights. He was taking cocaine during training camp for a lot of his big fights when he was in his prime, when he was with Kevin Rooney. Not all of his fights, but a lot of his fights. He said he even had cocaine in his system during some of his fights in his prime year, to the point where he would have to circumvent drug testing so they wouldn't detect the cocaine in his system. Yet he was still able to produce championship level performances and blow people away while abusing drink and drugs. Sergey Kovalev is not taking on the average world title holder when he faces Andre Ward. He wasn't taking on the average world title challenger in the first fight. He's not taking on the average world title holder in the rematch. He's taking on a guy who is absolutely supremely dedicated to his craft. He's taking on a man who is not maybe as physically gifted as Sergey Kovalev is. And this is what you find a lot of the time with guys who are supremely physically gifted. They do tend to be the kind of guys who take their own physical gifts for granted. Whereas a guy like Ward, who is not outstandingly physically gifted, yeah, he has a certain degree of athleticism, but it's nothing spectacular. He's not a puncher. He has fairly quick hands, nothing crazy, fairly quick feet, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. This is a guy who's really got to where he's got by having a genius of a boxing brain, by being in fantastic physical condition all year round, by being meticulous in his preparation, by being absolutely obsessed with boxing to the point where he is the boxing equivalent of a mathematical genius. Pinpoint, precise. From a tactical point of view, in a lot of his fights, he's virtually flawless. Defensively, so on and so forth. That's how he's got to where he is. Not through having incredible physical ability, because his physical ability is above average, but it's really nothing special. Kovalev, on the other hand, has fantastic punching power. I mean, it is the kind of punching power that comes along once a generation. He really is a prolific and tremendous puncher. And when you have that kind of gift, you can become complacent. You can start thinking, you know what, I can even do 2 hours of training a day. I'll beat this guy. I can have my little vodka sessions at night. I'll be all right. Is that what's going on here? Is the word on the grapevine accurate? Or is it a smokescreen? Is it something that Team Kovalev have put out there to get their opponents to be complacent, to get their opponents to latch on to some hope which is misplaced? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Does Sergey Kovalev have an issue with drinking? Again, not to suggest he has any kind of problem with alcoholism, but again, professional athletes need to be very careful. They need to be digital about what they put into their bodies during training camp. I mean, even in between training camps, they need to be careful. You can't be blowing up in weight. You can't be drinking so consistently over long time periods that it's going to affect your testosterone levels and your reflexes and make your weight fluctuate. Is it just me? Or does Andre Ward look closer to fighting weight at this point than Sergey Kovalev does? And I know Andre Ward is a naturally smaller guy, but Kovalev looked a bit chubby around the chops to me at the presser. Something to consider. Drop it all in the comment section below. Hopefully I've given you some food for thought and some things to talk about. So yeah, let me know. It's happening. I'm out.